Hi guys, I'm Mr. Bo and today we're going to be talking about raids in Destiny. And yes, I have already done a video talking a little bit about raids, but in this week's Bungie weekly update, Luke Smith, who is the design lead for the raids in Destiny, gave us a few more bits of information just before launch, and I'm going to be breaking those down for you guys, giving you my thoughts and opinions, and then asking you guys what you think about these. So let's hop straight into it. So to quickly go over something that wasn't actually addressed in this Bungie weekly update, but it has been addressed in many interviews, is to whether or not the Vault of Glass is the only raid in Destiny at launch. And indeed it is the only raid we're going to be able to do at the beginning of Destiny, but who knows, I'm sure they will add more in via the expansions or just later down the line. You know, it's inevitable that it's going to be adding more of this end game content, so expect some more raids later along down the line. So the first thing that Luke answered was, does it take 45 minutes to open the door to the Vault of Glass like many rumours have suggested? He says once a group understands how to open the Vault of Glass door, it's not going to take anywhere near 45 minutes. So maybe on your first go it might take a little bit longer than what it will do on your next few goes. And if you've got 5 guys who are working together and communicating as a team, then I'm sure it will only take like 15 to 20 minutes to open this door, but who knows. Moving on to another question that was answered, and that is, what about the clan that took 16 plus hours to complete this raid? He says there was a whole bunch of missing information when we got that statement. So here's what happened. They invited a clan to come down and test the raid. Now this clan is the only external testers to have actually faced the raid. So everyone else who has done the raid has been internal at Bungie. So this is the first time they were able to see how people who aren't familiar with mechanics and how to do this exactly would deal with doing the raid. So they took this clan, they split them up into groups of 6 for the raid, and they didn't give them any help, tips, they didn't explain any of the mechanics, and they watched and they listened and they learned. So over 2 days, one of the groups made it to the final encounter, but had to be skipped forward an encounter when they weren't able to complete it. But they didn't manage to complete the final encounter. Another one of the groups washed out and elected to go back and play the strikes and missions as they felt it was too hard and they couldn't get any further. So now we're going to move on to what the difference between normal and hard mode are in the raid. So everyone's going to be starting with normal. You're not going to be able to play hard mode until you've actually completed the raid on normal, which I think kind of makes sense. So what is the exact differences between them? Well, normal is all about learning the mechanics and building strategies as a team to overcome the encounters you will face along the way in the raid. Once completed, you will then unlock hard mode. Hard mode demands execution, it has deadlier combatants, harsh death penalties, tighter tuning windows for encounter mechanics, and a handful of differences. It's going to be a true challenge. And now comes one of the things that I think is the coolest part about the raids, and I was hoping they'd do this, and it's a similar mechanic to things like World of Warcraft's raids. So the question was, how long will it take to complete the raid? And you will get a week to complete the raid. A whole week. So how does that work? Well, you don't have to do it all at once. You'll be able to quit and come back. You'll complete certain encounters as you go along. Once you've completed an encounter, you can then quit. Your progress will be saved and you can come back the next day and continue from where you've left off. However, your progress will be wiped every Tuesday on the weekly reset, meaning you have a week to complete it. So I would assume starting the raid on a Tuesday, you then have the full week, whereas if you would start it on say like a Monday, the progress would be wiped the next day. I'm not sure how that works. We didn't really get any confirmation on that, but it'll be interesting to see if you start it on a Monday, will your progress get wiped the next day, or will you have a full week until the next Tuesday? We'll have to wait and see about that, but I would assume if it is every Tuesday, then you should start the raid on a Tuesday, so then you have that full week to try and complete it. Now moving on to the last 2 things here, and it's about loot. Now a big part of the raid is getting the reward, the loot at the end. So what kind of loot are you going to be getting? Well, each weapon archetype, that's assault rifles, hand cannons, snipers, heavy weapons, rockets, they will each have their own version created just for the raid that you're going to have to try and get. Same with armor. Armor will visually and thematically connect to the combatant you will fight in the Vault of Glass. Now I'm going to be showing you some images on screen here, and now that these 2 armors that are similar to the Vex, and these are the ones that are believed to be unlocked from completing the Vault of Glass. Now they're only a Titan and a Warlock, but I think they look awesome. It'll be interesting to see what the Hunter looks like. Now there was also a list of weapons that were supposed to be the ones you unlock during the raid over on destinynews.net. I'm not going to be going over all of them right now because I think it would kind of spoil them if you know every single thing you're going to be unlocking from doing the raid. You can go check the link out in the description and go ahead and check out the destinynews.net page where it has all this information. They are a great website and I do sometimes get my information from there, so definitely go ahead and check them out. And then the final thing we're going to be talking about again is to do with loot, and this time it's to do with how you unlock it. So will enemies drop loot, and if so, are you able to grind those loots again and again and again so you can have that same item? Well, certain encounters will have certain loot that you will unlock and it's going to be specific to that encounter. However, some encounters will only let you have that loot once. However, what we talked about earlier with the weekly reset, that is the same with loot. So you complete an encounter and you get the loot from that. Well, you're not able to get that again until the weekly reset has happened, and then you can go back and get that item again. And I believe they put this in because maybe there are some items which will be able to be traded in for certain other items, and it's to stop you from getting all those items, trading them in for the most exotic and legendary gear so you're like super powerful. It's to stop that from happening so you don't have to keep grinding and grinding and grinding. You have to come back each week to get that specific item, and I think that's really cool. And that wraps up all the information we have from the Bungie weekly update. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give the like button a hug. Subscribe for more Destiny content and coverage. Only 9 days left until the launch next week. I'm going to bring you guys an unboxing of the Destiny Ghost Edition on the Tuesday, so make sure you stay tuned for that. At the time of this video going up, the Bungie PAX Prime panel has not happened yet, so you can go and check out my previous video on where you can go and watch that. If it's already happened, then I'm sure you'll be able to find it on demand somewhere for you guys to watch. I will be covering it on Monday with all the information that was talked about, and then on Tuesday I'm going to be talking about whether or not we're going to be seeing the darkness in the game or not. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.